Greetings to everyone out there in YouTube land. I'm Ahmed Hassanin, and I just want to give a shout out to Coach Dan. Thank you for all the support you show the team and the players. Everyone hit the like, subscription button, and yell woo in the comments. Thank you, and go Lions.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. Hey, Lions Talk Live, we've got some breaking news. Came out, I guess you could say, late last night. I didn't want to do a third video, so I left it for the morning show. Some of you may be aware of it, may not be aware of it. I guess, hey, it's going to be breaking news to somebody. How about that? I did some diving into it also this morning, reaching out to some media people in the Detroit-based area, and this is actually a pretty big deal. So Lions yesterday, we'll dive into this more into the main topic of the day, but just to give you the nuts and bolts before we get into the rest of the show, Lions filed some grievances against the NFL, not just for some stuff that happened during the Baltimore Ravens game, but for all three games so far this year. The bulk of the files and accusations against the NFL, plus the, and also in favor of the NFL Players Association, simply put this, Lions feel like they're getting hosed on a lot of calls. Again, we'll dive into this deeply during the main topic of the day. Also, they feel there's a level of concern growing throughout the coaching staff and the player base about some of the targeting going on for Aiden Hutchinson. What am I talking about? Well, if you guys remember Monday Night Football, there were two, maybe three different times where if you're watching some of the blocking assignments for the Baltimore Ravens, you have somebody blocking up high and you got somebody else going down low trying to take out his knees. Now, to most on planet Earth, this may not sound like a big deal. In the NFL, college football, heck, high school and peewee football, it's a massive deal. This is how knees get blown out. This is how ankles get destroyed. And yes, legs get broken. If you do go back and remember not just the Baltimore game, but there were a couple moments, I know Fox caught it pretty cleanly on air, on video, against the Chicago Bears, where they really bent Aiden Hutchinson backwards to the point this became a red flag for MCDC. It did happen. I had to look back and try to get corroboration of it, but it did happen in Green Bay. Although if it happens once, everybody probably says it's not a big deal. You know, it happens in the span of a football game. But what MCDC is highly upset with, and again, we'll go into this more in-depthly during the main topic of the day, is that it's keeping to happen. It's repeating. Against the Ravens, it happened multiple times. Now, again, for those just joining, they filed it in regards to trying to protect Aiden Hutchinson, but also for some rules violations, penalty calls that seem to be happening a little bit more. They took real umbrage with the field goal that was good, that should not have been good, apparently, per NFL rules. If you guys remember, the Baltimore Ravens kicked the one incredibly high. Per rule, it has to be cleanly within the upright. It cannot go over the upright and not be cleanly in. So you can kick it as high as you want. As long as you see those lines going up, the problem is the ball went over the upright, which by rule is not a field goal. It has to be cleanly within the upright. Again, we'll dive into this more, but at least you got the nuts and bolts of it as we start the show. We'll go through the 5 headlines now, then we'll get into all this more in-depthly. With that all being said, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 40-some subs away from hitting 14,600. If you could help out with that, I surely would be thankful and give you a crisp, clean high five. Also, if you got a half second of time, it's free of charge. Reach on down, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but most certainly never least, as you see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen, if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan where I reside, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. It can be throughout the nation as well. 269-998-2384. I've been a realtor for over 30 years. You want somebody who's going to watch your back, do you a solid, make sure you don't get overcharged, everything in between. Go ahead and give me a call. It can be commercial property, vacant land, regular housing, whatever it is. Go ahead and reach out to me, and we'll take care of you. All right, let's get the show rocking and rolling and going and kicking off with 5 headlines now. By the way, we got about 50 gajillion graphics for you guys to digest today. All right, are the Lions Super Bowl contenders with Dan Campbell? Question mark. The Herd, Colin Cowherd. Some of you guys watch this guy a lot. I do a little bit when I'm driving around showing houses or going to the gym, and I thought he brought up an interesting point. Dan Campbell has changed the game, and I want to give some credit to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck on the Monday night broadcast. I thought they did a pretty good job of pointing this out. Go back to the NFL prior to MCDC being a head coach. How many teams really go for it that often on 4th down? Now look at it nowadays. He has changed the game. Cowherd has the point. He brings up the notion that Lions last year would not have been 15-2 if MCDC had not been the Lions coach. How many games did we win last year while our defense was shredded, injuries, etc., but the Lions still found a way, whether going for it on 4th down or whatever, to win? That's a big credit to your head coach. That's a big credit to the coaching staff as a whole. Dan Campbell is a bit of his own guy, a gambling man, Dan, whatever you want to call him, Dan Gamble, and Cowherd brings up the point. Can the Lions win a Super Bowl with him? My feeling is yes, and I do agree with Colin on this. I think MCDC has influenced several other head coaches. John Harbaugh takes a lot of flack for, Monday night. We'll go into this in another one of the 5 headlines now. But I think MCDC's impact, not just on the Detroit Lions, but it crossed all of football. You're seeing it more and more at the collegiate level, even the high school level. Teams get to that 50-yard line. They are setting up a 4th and short a lot of times by saying, hey, it's 3rd and 5. If we can get 3 to 4 yards now, we're going for it on 4th down. As long as you communicate that to your offensive coordinator so they know how to make adjustments, it's probably not a bad move. But Colin Cowherd might have a great point here. All right, former NFL quarterback is seemingly trying to create a conspiracy theory about Lions OC John Morton, A to Z Sports, story by Mike Payton. He's right with this. A number of you guys mentioned it on yesterday's show, and I'll even say this. I think you guys have mentioned it in recent weeks, that Dan Orlovsky, the former Detroit Lion who runs out of the back of the end zone, giving the Minnesota Vikings 2 points and the ball, he's starting a bit of a conspiracy. He went on air yesterday and more or less, just paraphrasing, he said, hey, John Morton's not actually calling, or at least brings into question, John Morton is not even calling the offensive plays for the Detroit Lions. It's really Dan Campbell. John Morton is just kind of a figurehead for the OC spot. He's not really the actual OC. I don't know if that's true. When I watch John Morton, when I watch him up in the booth, when they put the camera on him, it does seem like he calls the plays. Been wrong before. The players seem to suggest that it is John Morton who makes the play calls, not Dan Campbell. Now, that also being said, I can tell you in all the time I've been a coach in any sport, head coach is going to influence whoever the OC is, whoever's in charge of the offense or the defense, whatever. You might actually call the plays, but they're going to have a lot of influence and things to say about what's going to go on with it all. So could that be the case that, MCDC, when he hired John Morton, said, hey, here's what I want. Here's what I don't want. Here's what Ben did I liked. Here's some things Ben didn't that I didn't like. I have no doubt that probably happened. I think Orlovsky is more probably clickbaity on this one, or maybe that's not the right term for it. I think he's probably just trying to generate views for ESPN with it. And you got to have something to talk about. The mothership is no different than every other media platform out there. If you don't have people watching, you don't have a channel or a show or newspaper or whatever. So that's been the story with media since, the 1800s. But I think Orlovsky is probably more wrong with this than anything else. All right, Detroit Lions grades versus the Ravens. Passing marks all around, but not perfect, by Corey Woods of MLive. Let's get over some grades. I know you guys like some grades, and we even have a special thing for you guys today. We'll get into that momentarily. All right, let's see what Corey's got for his grades. Probably some good grades all around. Jared Goff, quarterback spot, he's going to give him an A, and deservedly so. Goff, he was not asked to carry the load on offense. It wasn't part of the Lions, offensive game plan for this game. Lions, they had themselves a game. So did Jared Goff. Did not have, 5 touchdowns this week, but you know what he did? He had timely completions and command of the offense. a lot of times as fans, we often just kind of pay attention to the stats, and that's, to me, as a coach, kind of misleading. Goff, when asked to make the big throw, he made the big throw, and he made it look easy. That's something most human beings, let alone quarterbacks, simply can't do. You go back to when he was with the Rams. Did he get rattled at times? Sure. But he was also a young 20-something-year-old quarterback then. He's now a young 30-something quarterback. That big throw on fourth down is going to be talked about for years, and maybe in time it fades away. But what he did out there on 4th and 2 with a play-action pass, game on the line, under 2 minutes to go, hitting St. Brown, that thing was a dime. He put it where basically St. Brown's going to catch it, get tackled before he catches it, which is a pass interference, or at least should be, it's going to be an incomplete pass. That thing that was a layup and was perfectly thrown. There just aren't many people that can do that in the pressure, under the gun, etc. Jared Goff did it, and I thought, man, Corey Wood's grade of an A. It's probably accurate. All right, running backs, Dave Montgomery, man, if there was questions about this guy, it should be over by now. He played awesome. Gibbs is awesome. The Lions simply have the best running back duo out there. In fact, let's go over to this real quick. One of the graphics for you guys today. This comes from our friends at the Lions PR department. Lions running backs David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, alongside with Amon-Ra St. Brown. All produced touchdowns in tonight's game, or at least Monday's game. This marked the 10th time each member of the trio has produced a touchdown in the same game, extending their NFL record. And again, Gibbs was on such fire, last year for what he did. And I get it. He looks like one of the best running backs out there. But that doesn't mean Dave Montgomery isn't a great running back. And you know what? Anybody who kind of slept on him probably remembers all about him now. All right, A+ for the running backs. Wide receivers, A overall. They run blocked incredibly well. They made some plays here and there. And you probably throw tight ends with this too. So just say wide receivers, tight ends. Sam Laporta, it's been kind of quiet as far as the national media about him. But look at his start of the year. He's been on fire. Even in Green Bay, he had something like 7 catches. He just keeps producing, keeps blocking. And I will throw this out there just real quickly. His run blocking and pass blocking has improved dramatically from last year to this year. When I watched the game tape, after the game and just try to break it down, the fact that they left him on single blocking assignments with defensive ends for the Ravens, that speaks volumes to what the Lions coaching staff feels about his run blocking and pass blocking. Laporta is a complete tight end at this point, and I think, man, he's got to be in the top 3 in the NFL. Offensive line, A+. The only real knock I had on it was the face mask towards the end of the game, the 15-yarder. It was a face mask. It should have been flagged. The problem I have with it is the inconsistency, and we'll go into this during the main topic of the day, some of that crew had when it came to the face mask or hands to the face. Save that for the main topic. Defensive line, also an A. Hey, man, you get 29,000 sacks on Lamar Jackson, and outside of the first offensive series of the game, Derrick Henry was not even a much of an impact in the game. They had a game plan for him to keep him at bay, but man, after that first drive, Derrick Henry, the Lions did a ton of good things out there. A for the defensive line. Linebackers, A-. Probably being a little nitpicky here, but reading through his notes, the only real negative they gave on him was the touchdown to the tight end for Baltimore Ravens. Although that being said, I thought Alex Anzalone had pretty good coverage. It was just an incredibly well-placed pass from Lamar Jackson. Secondary, C+. The start of the game, you could even say the first quarter and a half wasn't the greatest. I know a lot of people are going to throw Terrion Arnold under the meat grinder or the bus or whatever, but I actually thought you watch after about halfway point of the second quarter, he played pretty dang good. In the second half, I thought he played real well. Think about this. The Lions get 7 sacks because of the pass rush or because the coverage from the secondary was that good in the second half. I think it's a combination of things, but there was nobody egregiously open where Lamar could easily find and hit him. They forced some bad passes. They also forced several sacks, in my opinion, because the coverage was that good. C+ for is what Corey Woods gives. Special teams, a C. We get it. The special teams coverage on kickoffs has to improve. Coaching, an A. Not a big surprise there. You know what? Coaching, you could say, because of all the fourth downs we decided to go for, and won us the game. All right, next up, 5 glorious headlines now. Lions running back duo. Yeah, I already put this out there, but hey, we'll just go through it real quick. Stars starts new NFL record. Detroit Lions and SI. Story by Emmett Makowski. We'll power through this one real quickly. Just put that back on the screen for anybody just joining us. Hey, now you know the Lions have extended that streak. All right, last of 5 headlines now. Conflicting fourth down strategies were the difference between the Lions and Ravens. Mike Florio, Pro Football Focus. You're not wrong. John Harbaugh facing a 4th and 8, I think it was. Maybe it was 4th and 9. Late in the game, decides to punt. And I get it's 4th and long. So keep that in mind for anybody who wants to throw Harbaugh under the bus. They don't get that. Lions are got a real easy scoring opportunity there. But the other side of that, we already talked about today, MCDC decides to go for it on 4th downs. He doesn't want field goals, especially on the road. Takes the big gamble, gets the cojones, gets the onions, whatever you want to say. And you know what? His team wins a lot of games. Look at last year as well. You can probably think about 29 different times where the Lions should have punted, should have kicked the field goal, didn't, got it. You know what? You want it. And I know there will still be some Lions fans that say, man, a couple years ago in the NFC title game, if we would have just kicked the field goal, punted it, we would have beat them. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I do know if Josh Reynolds holds on to that 4th and 2 pass, we're probably in the Super Bowl. So how about that? All right, from there, we're going to go on to a segment of the show we haven't had in a little while. But I figured it was about time to bring back the Duke Crew Power Rankings. All right, Duke Crew Power Rankings. Let's just go through this real quickly before we get back over to the main topic today. ESPN previously ranked the Lions prior to this week at 5. They're now 3. Just saying, hey, the Lions are legit Super Bowl contenders, and I think anybody watching that game Monday night, plus what we did to the Bears, maybe it's not so much week 1, all says the same things. There just aren't many holes in this Lions roster. We can all talk about the defensive end spots or the pass rush, but again, standing up for the coaches here, I think week 1 and 2, part of that is the design of the defense, and that seemed to be confirmed yet again with week 3. Now, when you force the Ravens into must-passing situations, that pass rush looked pretty legit, and with Pascal perhaps coming back soon, Ali McNeil coming back, you know what? Maybe in Davenport in a month or whatever it's going to be, maybe they will be more than anticipated as far as that front 7. Sports Illustrated also boosted us from 5 to 3. Just said, hey, look out, Andy Reid. The Lions are also capable of retrofitting, granting 1927 plays into their arsenal. The Ringer took us from 6 to 3. You're seeing a lot of commonalities here. NFL.com had us going from 6 to 3. Yahoo Sports still has us as 5. We were 5 last week as well. The Athletic took us from 6 to 5. USA Today brought us all the way up from 10. Can you believe that? They had us ranked 10th to number 6. And then CBS Sports had 12 to 6. We are 6th this week, according to them. Sporting News took us from 8 to 7. So there are your weekly updates on the power rankings. With all that done now, let's go over to that main topic of the day. All right, main time of the day. Start with the easy stuff, then we'll get into the Hutch stuff. Lions feel like in the Monday Night Football game, they came up with 9 different situations where any kind of 50-50 call went against them. I would argue this as a coach. And again, everybody's going to have their own opinion. What I'm about to say is based on covering this team for multiple different news outlets, what are you going to say, since the late 80s. Lions do not get favorable calls. Anytime there is a 50-50 call, it's going the other way. It's going to the other team. I'm not going to go through each of these, but these are the ones that I thought that were the most egregious filed with the Lions against the NFL to consider and the NFL Players Association. The field goal I already brought up, but again, to repeat the rule, you got the uprights right here. The ball has to, if in the Monday night case, it can't go over the bar. It has to be inside the bar. The Lions said every review they provided to the NFL shows that ball is not even close to being inside the upright. It's over the upright. That should not have been a field goal. Why does that matter? How much does 3 points change the game, especially at that point in the game? Quite a bit. Now, MCDC, isn't going to go on comment about this. He's not going to talk to the media. If it comes up later today in a presser or something like that, he's probably going to say next question because he understands he'll get fined and probably, talking too firmly if he does say something. Now I'll go back to that Christian Mahogany. I'm looking at my notes here. Christian Mahogany face mask. Is it a face mask? Absolutely. Lions provided information, it appears, that they felt there were 3 other hands to the face or face mask against them that now are not called. Most of you also remember the Brian Branch penalty in the game where he was kind of pushed down, blocked down. I'll give the Monday Night Football staff credit. They come out and say, this isn't a penalty. But you get where the Lions are going with this. The Lions provided all these to the NFL and say, how is it possible that you have 9 different infractions and each one of these infractions favor one team and not the other team? Normally, it's a pretty 50-50 situation where one team gets half of them, the other team gets half of them. But in this case, if you want any kind of conspiracy that the Lions are trying to be shown the door by Roger Goodell and the front offices of the NFL, this is what you're getting. Now, to move on to the second part of this, and probably the more concerning thing for the Detroit Lions, immediately at least, because you can play through bad penalties. You cannot play through injuries, usually, depending on the injury. Lions provided video information and suggestions to the NFL that in each of the 3 games, Aiden Hutchinson is being illegally targeted. You guys probably all remember him. You've seen it happen. The problem the Lions as an organization are having is they understand teams need to stop Aiden Hutchinson. I don't care what media outlet you watched 2 or 3 weeks ago. Everybody was up in arms. You can't pay Aiden Hutchinson $50 million because he can't beat a double team. Well, I guess if somebody's taking out your knees or your ankles while somebody else is blocking your face, that's going to be tough to beat a double team like that. And I get to a certain degree, it's football. Things are going to happen, but they also need to happen within the rules. The NFL is designed to keep their superstars in the game, not in a medical tent. The NFL wants people out there. It'll be real interesting to see how Roger Goodell, the NFL Players Association, everybody else in between responds to this. Because if Hutch, whether it's against the Bears, the Vikings, or this week against the Cleveland Browns, if Hutch blows out his knee and it's because one of these illegal blocks, that's going to be a damning thing, especially even now that the Lions have brought it to light. Because now the NFL can't come back and say, hey, we didn't know anything about this. What are you talking about? Oh, I can't believe we missed this. For the most teams, try to keep this stuff real, close to the chest, don't want it in the media. So for this to come out, whether it was leaked from somebody within the Detroit Lions in the NFL, I don't know. I just know the information's out now. So for this to come out, that's a damning statement for the NFL and not a good look. Hutchinson, according to the notes, he got a couple of these, Monday night. He had at least one of these situations pop up, as you guys remember, against the Bears. And then, against Green Bay, there were 2 as well. Once in a while it happens. Just unfortunate stuff. It happens. But to have 3 straight games where multiple times this pops up in each game, that means teams are doing something to intentionally impact that. It does not happen. Coach Rock's in the comment section. You probably speak to it. A bunch of other people have probably coached and stuff. Every once in a while, something like that, a high block and a low block, the same play going to happen. It's going to happen just through the math of the game. But to have it keep happening multiple times in a single game, that means it's being taught. People are coming after you intentionally, trying to stop Hutchinson. Which brings up the other question. Is Hutchinson better than most of us kind of give him credit for? We all agree he's pretty good. But is he actually better than we're anticipating? Because teams feel like they have to do that in order to keep him off, the running backs, out of the backfield, off the quarterback, etc. Everybody can be right or wrong on this. It'd be interesting to see what you guys have to say about it. But I do think the NFL is on a slippery slope with this, especially now that it's gone public. Because if Hutchinson gets another one of these blocks, or 2 or 3, and he is injured, talk about legal ramifications. You can't deny you didn't know about it when it's gone public. All right, let's get to the Drew Crew comment section, see what you guys have to say. I do think, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but having covered this team for the better part of 30 some odd years, I've done a number of different stuff for the Associated Press, for different television networks or whatever, different newspapers, doing deep dives about how the Lions get jobbed by officials at a rate that's not seen with any other team. And again, you can probably go through Lions Talk Live, some of the video archives, and the first year or 2 I did the channel, I did some deep dives or repeated those articles on here. What I will say is, watching the game, and I'll just use this for example. They call the face mask on Mahogany late in the fourth quarter. Look at the time and situation. Lions get a score there. That game's what? It's over. We all get it. There's 5-6 minutes left in the game. Touchdown puts that thing away. But you know what? If we hold them to a field goal, it's only a 7-point game. You know what? This game stays a little closer. Maybe the Ravens have a chance. You go back and watch on one of the penalties against Terry and Arnold. I want to say in the first quarter. There, DeAndre Hopkins clearly puts his hand in Arnold's face mask and pushes him up and away, his head away. You don't have to call face mask, but you can call hands to the face, which is a penalty. It's not called. How you don't get one and you don't get the other, and especially when you let the Ravens get away with it 3 times, hey, makes people wonder, don't you? All right, let's go to the Duke Crew comment section and see what you guys have to say about all this and maybe a little bit more. And I'm scrolling to the top of the screen. And Johnny L., good morning, folks. Good morning to you. Shamir, hey, good evening, salutations, Duke Crew family. Good to see you, man. Normally don't see you as much anymore, so good to see you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Let's see what happening. Woo! And back at you, Henry Moore. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Good to see you. Shamir, it's been a while. Sleep has been getting me the best of me. Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Sometimes you got to sleep, right? Johnny L., what's up, Shamir? Question mark. Shamir, hey, Johnny L. Johnny L., great morning, Henry Moore. Henry Moore, good morning, Johnny L. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. What's going on with DC and Hutch? I need to wake up. Hey, have yourself a morning Mountain Dew. Carrie, morning, everyone. And same with you. Jason, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. It's a good day to be a Lions fan. Isn't every day a good day to be a Lions fan? I submit that to you. Let's see, Johnny L., what's going on now? And now you know. Knowing is half the battle. Absolutely, Jason, says Henry. Shamir, the officials did not want us getting that game. Kind of my point. I don't ever want to say officials are instructed to do things. I can also say there are sometimes it's hard to get away from that mindset when you watch the game. And if you've reffed before, if you coached before, if you played before, not every call is going to go your way. There are going to be controversial ones. The problem becomes when you start to getting multiple, 2, 3, 4, 9 different calls that are all seemingly favoring one team and not the other team. And then you watch some of the questionable calls happen and you go, man, is there an agenda in play? I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't ever want to think that way about anybody. But it's also hard to deny it when it happens. Game 1, game 2, game 3. That seems a little odd. Silver Surfer, good morning, Coach and everyone. Same to you. Jess, greetings, salutations. Something had to happen for the Lions to get worked up. I don't know what it is. And now you know, my friend. Johnny L., who's not Lewin in the morning? Hookadoo, good Wednesday morning, Duke Crew. So what did we file with on the NFL? How the Zebras tried to give that game to the Ravens? Yeah, part of it. Drake, NFL always cheating us. Nothing new. I concur. Until then, was it the terrible call against Brian Branch when he got targeted? I think that was included in the package. Not the only one, but the package. Danielle, could be. David, I felt it was a bogus call as well until there you go. Silver, Coach, I saw Wingo was scratched from the Ravens game. I wonder, how is he? Question mark. Some undisclosed injury. Hope he will be healthy. I think he's fine. I think they're just taking their time with him. Remember, ACLs, it takes a while to come back from that. I think they're just trying to be cautious with him, and I'm sure they're going to do the same thing with Aleem, the Dream, McNeil, plus Rodrigo, etc. Jameer, it was a couple of bogus calls in that game. I would also like to, I would agree with that fully. France, as long as I've been a Lions fan, all I can recall is bad calls going against us. Probably accurate. Okay, good morning, Mr. Grit, Johnny L, Silver Server, and the rest of the Grit-filled Duke crew. Back at you, Johnny L. Everyone did. Attila, Henry Moore. I would be surprised me if the NFL tried to say we had ineligible players in the game, so the win doesn't count. What a laugh. Yeah, how about that? Shamir, can't wait for Ahmed to get back. Yeah, me too, man. I think he's gonna be a nice piece for us. He's gonna need some time to grow and develop. That's the only real downside to his injury is you deny him now a couple months worth of development opportunities. Silver, and again, Baki injured, perhaps. They are not letting him fully recover from previous injuries. It's possible. Yeah, MCDC said it's a groin injury with him. Or so he very injury prone. Could be that too, because so far in a year and a little bit more, all he's done has been injured. John W., the one on Branch with the low block was ridiculous. It was. I could see why they maybe called it. But again, if it was just that, every fan could probably move on from it. It's the problem is the field goal, the hands to the face, yada, yada, all the other stuff. Gary, there were a ton of no calls on the Ravens, too. I concur. Silver, Hookadoo. Jameer, I'll be at the game Sunday. Go enjoy it. Jameer, I can't stop us. They can't stop us even if they stopped us. Yeah, they try to stop us, but they don't slow us down, do they, Jameer? Hookadoo, John W. Yep, low block. He fell on his bunt and was called for a low block. Yeah, you can see where he was getting pushed down, lost leverage, fell down. Yeah, it is what it is. Johnny L, right on, Jameer. Lions Talk Live fan, poor Browns. Let's unleash the fury on the Browns. Silver Server, I was wondering about Wingo also because Lions had a visit with Quentin Jefferson, big defensive end, 291 pounds. Yes, he is. And they also had a safety, from the used to play for the Seahawks to stop in. But that's not abnormal for them to try to bring players in during the early part of the week, off days, to put them through some workouts so they can build a list. If we need to sign somebody quickly, we already know about this guy. This is great, says Johnny. Big Eddie, NFL is always trying to cheat us, I swear. I agree. John King, good morning, coach and crew. Looked up to me. We were told we don't let the Lions run 50 up on Monday night. Hey, maybe they were trying to slow us down for sure. Kerry Flacco is going to have to be so accurate. I don't think it's going to happen. Yes, and he is not the most mobile quarterback. Might be the first time, really in a long time, we face a non-mobile quarterback. Henry Moore, doggone zebras. Just wait for our guys to do something, then flags come out. I agree. Sure. There was call that we didn't make against the Ravens, but was trying to hit us with all the calls. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think, again, you get one or two, you can probably live with that. Hey, bad call, it happens. The problem is when you start getting a 5, 6, 9, apparently, questionable calls, all favoring one team and none for the other. Jess, Wingo hurt, question mark. Didn't even think about it, but I don't remember seeing him. Yeah, he was inactive for the Monday night game. Why? I don't know. Servicer John King, that is no joke. Betting mafia have their hands everywhere. Could be, without a doubt. Okay, after watching last Sunday's game, Kerry, I don't think Flacco could hit the side of the barn. Yeah, and the fact he's the starting quarterback. Black Jared Jones seems like our special teams took a step back this year. We got to get after it 100%. Yeah, they got to improve that. Yeah, I think we all agree with that. Johnny, why? Well, now you know. Black GR Jones, grit, baby. Who doesn't like the grit? Susan, how much is sports betting behind the NFL and some of the calls? That is a great question. Silver Wingo did not play. Just Johnny L, why does this league hate us so much? I've covered it before. My thoughts are, when I covered the team in the 90s, there weren't this many stuff, as far as odd things happening against us. Same in the 80s, even in the early 2000s. It really, in my opinion, when I did a deep dive story for the AP, Associated Press, etc., it all came down to one thing. In 2008 or something like that, when the financial crisis happened, Roger Goodell takes over as the commissioner of the NFL, wants to remove the Thanksgiving game from Detroit, make it a rotational piece. The Fords had enough, cojones or whatever, backing, I guess is probably the better way to put it, from the rest of the league owners to say, nah, they started it, they get to keep it. And at that point, that's where all the calls seem to happen. I think Goodell did not like somebody stepping in his face, questioning his authority and his abilities. So he's had it in for the Lions, at least to some degree, ever since then. So take that for what it's worth. Silver Sir, Susan's got a whole lot, exclamation point, way more than you could be ready to accept. All right. Black J.R. Jones, Lions 2-1. My youth football team is 2-0. Grit, baby, grit, 100%. Johnny L, shake my head. Jennifer, good morning, all. Back at you. Coach Rock, good morning, Duke Crew. Steve, are we really favored to win by 9? I want to say it's 8, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 9. Carrie, smash the like button. Smash all the buttons if you would. Silver Server, I got to cook me something. Get something to eat, my friend. Coach Rock, Hookadoo, and Johnny L already bringing the grit. Yes, they get here early. Hookadoo, Susan, I'm thinking Vegas has a lot to do with it. No, it is. People do talk about it in all sports nowadays. Can't have betting without people trying to affect the betting. Johnny LC, Cleveland's defense is no joke. Yes, they are pretty dang legit. Anymore, it seems that the Lions filed a complaint that other teams are deliberately targeting Hutch to cause additional injury. It does seem that is a part of it. Johnny L, the Browns have a much better defense than the Ravens. I would agree with that fully. I think they have one of the best defenses in the league. And not in no disrespect to the Ravens, I just think, man, that Cleveland defense, it's solid across the board, all three layers. Look at you, Coach Rock, the master of grit. Good morning. Back at you. Tori Apple, the Browns have a great D, just no O. That might be accurate. Gary, let's see. That was Tori. Now, Gary, defense wins games if you can put points on the board. Yeah, it's hard to win if you don't score, although they found a way, I guess you could say, last week. Dre Day, it's Detroit versus everybody. I agree. The media headline now is panic mode in Baltimore. Is Baltimore a contender? Question mark. Seriously, how is losing to the Lions turn a Super Bowl contender into a pretender? I think it's more that they're 1-2. And they think they got KC next. I mean, they could very well be 1-3, but they could also be 1-3 and one game out of first place in their division. Sorry, anymore. I can see that, but now are you going to stop it? Can't give them immunity from hitting. The Bears hit behind his knee was disgusting. Yeah, and thankfully he's okay. So small. 1 day closer to Aleem returning. That's going to be a big plus for us. You're not wrong, my friend Johnny L. Kerry, that's what's wrong with the Browns. Jim, Wingo and Baki, is that what they brought Jefferson in for a workout? He is 32. Might be. Johnny L, no offense. Hey, no offense indeed. Man Bear, greetings, salutations, do crew. Back at you. Dre Day. Steven, I said, does Johnny Mo want a cookie? He did his job, nothing more. Funny when the morning he said the Lions had no chance without Ben Johnson at play call. Yeah, and we've proven him wrong. John Morton seems to be more than capable of doing it, to your point, Dre. Jessica, good morning all. Back at you. Server, Aleem, huge boost. Needs time to be 100%. I agree. And even more time to get back in football game rhythm. There you go. Hookadoo. That's a real thought, Henry, about Hutch and him being targeted. It is, exclamation point. Johnny L, that's what's wrong with the Browns. No offense. Yes, no offense at all. Let's hope it stays that way. Server, Dre Day, leave Stephen A alone. It's just the entertain like Skip Bayless. Yeah, they're entertainers at this point. They're not so much journalists anymore as they are entertainers, to your point. 5 figures ready. What's going on with the Lions, the NFL? Now you know, Kerry. Aleem, week 2, October, might be a Dre Day. I like Skip's takes, though, personally. He thinks Micah won't last the whole season. I hope he is right, Silver Server. Could be. I haven't seen Skip Bayless since him and Shannon stopped doing that one show. Silver Server, forget Stephen A. and listen to people like Troy Aikman, somebody who knows, sees, and takes the side. Yeah, listen to whoever works best for you. David, good morning. Drew, and back at you. Jim, some of the media were talking about why the Ravens lost and why we won. Bad play calls off defensive line, not finishing in the red zone, etc. Yeah, basic football stuff, right? Scoring touchdowns, not field goals. Look at Johnny L. Cleveland has struggled on offense for years now. It might be accurate. Johnny L. Hope Hutchinson doesn't get hurt because of cheap shots. Me too, man. That would not be good. Jedi Sith, Rogers is not a fan of the Lions. Never has been. Yeah, Roger Goodell. There you go. Silver Serve, Dre Day. All right, Dre. Hookadoo, since Mayfield played for them. Yeah, Mayfield, man, you forget that he was even their quarterback. Johnny, I know that, Hookadoo, but you can imagine if they got that fixed. Yes, if they got that fixed, they'd be something. Miles Margaret, greetings, salutations. Sheila is pure grit. I concur. Johnny L, and I've always liked the Browns. There you go. Charles, good morning, coach and crew. Bring on the Browns. We will bring them on Sunday. Mary, good morning, Duke crew. How is everyone feeling this Wednesday? I'm blessed, and good to see you, Queen Mary, as always. Hookadoo. Johnny L, I agree. They would be a team to contend with. Exclamation point. Server, Johnny, if people for some mysterious reason are hunting for Hutch, it's going to backfire somehow, some way. I'll go with that. Gary, hi, Queen Mary. Johnny L, I agree with you. Silver, sir. Mary Smith, good morning, Mary. Carrie, hi, Queen Mary. Dre Day, isn't that against the rules to a low block to people's legs, though? Yes, you cannot engage it was somebody high and somebody low at the same time. They ruled that out, man, I don't even know, 20 years ago or something like that. Coach Rock, good morning. Mary, time for some grit now. Hookadoo, Miles Barr, top of the morning, the grit from the north. There you go. Kurt Steele, what up, though, Duke crew? Exclamation point. What's up, man of Steel? Henry Moore, totally true. Silver and Johnny L. L. Hey, Coach Dan, what are the weakest points on the Cleveland Browns defense in your opinion? Oof, man, I don't know. I guess if you had to find a weakness, maybe there's safeties, but that front seven can bring it. And those corners are real nice. I don't really know if they have a quote-unquote weakness, Al, but maybe the safety play. And again, I think you're just scrambling to find something to the list there if you're listing it. Dre Day, oh, that's right. Sorry, the refs don't make calls for Lions. Man, you ain't wrong. Server, Dre Day, yes, it is. Exclamation point. Mary Smith, good morning. My Lions Talk Live. Grit and Queen, brothers and sisters, back at you. Hookadoo. Mary Smith, the mother of grit. Good morning. Ken, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan, the crew. What a week to be a Lions fan. I know I'm borrowing it, but bless you boys. And back at you, Ken. Always a pleasure to see it. Coach Rock, good morning. Kurt Steele, good morning, Rock. Henry Moore, good morning, Professor Steele. Lauren, good morning, Duke crew. Johnny L, good morning, Kurt. Hookadoo, morning, Kurt. Don Burr. it is a very big deal. Start calling the unnecessary dirty Chiefs blocks. Yeah, I think they do need to. And if nothing else, again, bringing up the same point here, the NFL can't deny they didn't know anything about him because you've now formally submitted the video evidence to the NFL, the Players Association, everybody in between. I'm guessing behind closed doors at this point, now Goodell or people from the front offices have to call each of the Lions upcoming opponents and say, hey, you guys got to talk to your offensive linemen, your offensive players about this. This can't keep happening because it is against the rules. The NFL wants their stars out there. I mean, you guys get it, man. Big D, they also missed a bunch of those low blocks on Aiden. Yes, they did, and now they've been pointed out to it. Coach Rock, if the dirty hits were the other way around, boy, oh boy, watch out, Detroit. The red flags would be all over the place for that. And you're not wrong. Mayor Smith, yeah, they should have called a plays on Baltimore, but the refs only seem to get, they go blind whenever it's against the other team, right? Dunk Kong, Lions are the best in the world, exclamation point, TA needs to get benched. Weep deep at edge. Okay, we deep at edge. All right, Dennis, good morning. Dan and Duke back at you. Same old soup, just reheated. A bit tardy, but present. Always glad and welcome on the show. Dennis, go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Lionel, bunch of dirty people in the NFL. We'll go with that with an exclamation point. Mega hustle, refs, definitely. I agree with that fully, especially that field goal, man, because I mean, you're right under the upright. All you got to do is look up. If it's not cleanly inside, don't look at the other guys and go, is it good? You have to make that judgment if you're the official underneath that pole. And if you look up and say, man, I can't cleanly see it, it's not a field goal. But it is what it is. I'm Mark Detroit against everyone. Exclamation point. Kurt Steele, Johnny L. Hookadoo, Henry Moore. Coach Tony K, that's probably why Hutch's knee is messed up. Man, you're not wrong. Kurt Steele, good morning. Johnny L, Karma, baby Karma. Let's unleash the Karma. Lions Talk Live fan, they missed, overlooked a few holding calls also. Man, no surprise there. Robert, I knew the field wasn't good. A lot of refs' decisions were sketchy. The boys are good enough to win anyways. Exclamation point. Woo! At the end of the day, you might not always appreciate the officials you have, but you know what? You got to go out there. Use one from my own experience. This would have been in college playing for a championship in an event. We were going out there, opening warm-ups, refs come over, shake your hands and everything. Out of the 3 officials working a game, 2 come up and shake my hand. The other one just stares at me and won't shake my hand. Goes over to the other team, all 3 officials shake their hands. That official didn't shake my hand. I thought I didn't even know the guy, had some sort of beef against me. I brought up to the other officials when he cleanly missed a few calls. I said, man, what's going on here? How could he work the game if he's got an issue with me? And, it just is what it is. I tried to talk to him like multiple times, say, man, what's your problem? Would never answer it. So I had to file a complaint and no longer allowed to work those college games. So back in the day. Mega Hustle. Refs definitely tried to help Baltimore out. I concur. Coach Sonny K. Hey, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Back at you. Mark, go Lions. Leonard. Greetings, salutations. Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Always a pleasure to see you. Michael, Detroit Lions used to use the Packers game as their preseason warm-up. Be correct with that. For the starters, laughing out loud, 16-1 still on the table. Yes, it is. Detroit D, good morning, Duke Crew. Always a pleasure to see you. It's been a hot second. Ladies Fish, if the NFL official office knows and Roger Goodell knows about this, it's up to Roger Goodell to clean that up. And if it continues, then Roger Goodell should be fired. Wonder what they'll do. Kurt Steele, I liked Coward when he was on ESPN. Yeah, back in the day, man. I forget why he got booted, but it was something, one of his takes got him booted. I don't know. Robert, refs were sketchy, but we are good enough to overcome them. Woo! Exclamation point. I'm down with that. Ryan, as I said before, the refs NFL are targeting the Lions again. Might be accurate. Kevin, greetings, salutations. Dan and Duke Crew. Always a pleasure to see you, Kevin. Kurt, that chop block on Branch was a crazy bad call. It was, man. It was indeed. And the fact that 2 officials didn't step together and say, hey, maybe we need to pick that one up, that probably furthers the argument against the Detroit Lions, or the Detroit Lions are making. Rock, for now, you can overcome the reffing, but if they ever decided that you can't make a move without a flag, you can't overcome that. No, at some point, the flags, if you throw too many of them, then it really becomes suspicious. But if you sprinkle them out in any kind of 50-50 play, I don't know, man. Coach Rock, I cringe with the cleats get our game. What Clet gets our game? Yeah, Big D. What the heck do you mean? If you don't know if it is true, J-Mo is our OC and he's calling the plays. Might be. J-Mo might be a great play caller. Donkey Kong, Johnny and Shepard have been very impressive. I concur. Dunk on especially Shepard. Yeah, Shepard, man, he's getting some recognition nationally for what the Lions defense just did to Lamar. And good for them, man. He's deserving it. John Morton's getting some. The Lions outside of week 1, I mean, they're averaging, 40-some points a game? I mean, kind of hard to not like that. Big D, that's the dumbest thought I've ever heard. Fair enough. Miles Orlowski equals a chump. Might be. Big D, when you're kicking peeps' teeth in, that's what happens. All right, I'll go with that, Ken. If anyone is calling Kevin, good morning, man of steel. Egon Ship has been a good emotional leader as well. Yeah, I love, Aaron Glenn, just not an emotional guy typically on the sidelines. He's pretty introverted. Shep is not. He is extroverted, and he looks like he's ready to jump on that field and play. Dre D, Orlowski is a joke when he thinks the Lions still won't make the playoffs. Probably accurate. Big D, Orlowski equals career backup and out of bounds. Ken, the plays, it is probably Goff. He makes the adjustments at the line. Yeah, he's really evolved as a quarterback, and good for him. I think he's got another 5 years in him, barring anything happening unforeseen. But I think Goff's going to be around for a while longer. Kurt Steele, good morning, Kevin. Let's see, Lauren. Caught some of Johnny Gas show last night. Great content. Yeah, Johnny does. Great human being, great content provider. Go check out Johnny Gas Sports. Miles Meyer, Hookadoo, great morning, brah. Running around but listening. Hey, well, make sure you listen on in, and thanks for always doing that, Miles Meyer. Johnny O, Sonic and Knuckles, baby. Oh, yeah, exclamation points. Mega Hustle, Dan Orlowski, Mia Kins, and Rob Parker have the dumbest Lions takes. Rob Parker, man, even when he works for the Detroit News, man, he was a Lions hater back then, and he's found his niche, I guess you could say nationally. He is, the king hater. He wants to bring it after, and he knows that gets emotions out of people. Big D, they did get a holding call on that play. Silver Server, Orlowski could keep his mouth closed and mind his own business. Go, John Morton, exclamation point. I doubted you, didn't think you fit, and I was gladly wrong. Yeah, probably a lot of people were. Leonard, good morning. Dan, the Duke Group, back at you. Coach Rock, good grit morning. Miles Margaret. Detroit D, Gibbs needs to be a more patient runner. I feel he is pressing. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he needs to set up his blocks a little bit more. Mary, everyone on that panel for Monday night game got their teeth kicked in by the Detroit Lions. Never going against my Lions. 100% there. Yeah, everybody was against us. Thought we had no chance. We proved them wrong. Kurt Steele, Mary Smith, yes, they did. Exclamation point. Dunk Kong, Tesla got a small test of Monday night's game against top 10 team. Yep, there you go. Leonard, man, I cannot get over Monday's win. That was the best they played as a team in my mind. Yeah, it was a great game. Great game. Hey, especially the NFL needs to call the game both ways. Chop blocking is legal, and the NFL needs to be held accountable if that means cleaning house in the NFL office, starting with the officials. Might be. We'll see what they do. Big D, Gaz is the man. His show is nice. I like his 3-minute updates. 3-minute updates, indeed. So, sir, I would still start D-Monty, so begin the game instead of Gibbs. Soften that defense with 230 pounds. That brings in Jameer. There you go. Maybe they will go back to that. I don't know. Coach Rock, Silver Server, after the boneheaded play Orlowski pulled, he has no right to point fingers. Fair enough. Great day. Dan Orlowski, Stephen A., Peter Schregler, Mina Coons, Cowhurt, and Nick Wright are the media type creating Lions hate narratives. Yeah, probably behind it for sure. Mary Smith, Professor Steele, good morning. Big D, Derek who? We'll find out. Laughing out loud. Detroit D, I agree, Silver Server. Coach Ron, 49ers will be in the market for a DN now. Maybe. Especially, I always knew Roger Goodell is a crook, probably to a certain degree. Hookadoo, Miles Margaret, if you're running around, making sure you use safety scissors. Johnny L, I love the Lions Talk Live crew. Who doesn't, right? We all love the Duke crew. Big D, our offensive line was eating. And you know what? Just watching it from week 1 to week 3, man, those young guys are getting better and better. See, John W., Dan knows exactly when to unleash mahogany. I'll go with that. Ryan, no offensive coordinator has won a Super Bowl calling plays from the booth. Not a fan of that. Well, I'll let whatever he feels is best. If he feels he's going to do a better job here, there, wherever, man. He could be playing Madden while he does it for all I care, as long as he gets the job done. Kurt Steele, shout out to Jake Bates with that TD saving tackle. Yes, he did, man, and they've got to clean that up bad. Big D, we will be first. We are doing a lot of that as of late. Okay. Great day. Lamar was safer with the football by not throwing too many dangerous throws. I really was hoping for more picks, but maybe Cleveland will give them to our DBs. Might be. Yeah, I mean, he nearly threw 2, or threw 1, I should say, Unfortunately, Brian Branch dropped it, and then DJ dropped one in the end zone, but it wasn't from Lamar. Big D, Bates, woo! Exclamation point, Carey. Agreed, Silver Server, start Monty. Skirt Steel, big onions indeed. Laughing them out loud about that, Dre Day, and saying how there's people who want Harbaugh fired. That's crazy to me. Man, I'll tell you guys this. When we lost to Green Bay week 1, there was probably 50 people that reached out to me or in the comment section saying, fire Dan Campbell. I have not heard from those people after the last 2 weeks. So, Mary, Johnny L., how you feeling? And I love my Grip Brothers, Lions Talk Live Brothers too. And agreed with all that. Johnny L. is laughing. Until the entire Dan Orlovsky story is based on them saying that with the new coordinators, Lions would lose. Now they can't admit they were wrong. Yeah, it's funny how some people can't do that. Big D, I love that they gave Bates the shot at record. Yes, they did. Big D, Attila nailed it. Exclamation point. Johnny L., much love to you also, Queen Mary. Attila, good morning, Professor Steele. Professor Steele, Attila, good morning. Mary Smith, Professor, some very big onions indeed. Silver, you know, Coach, Lions sacked Jackson 7 times and pressured him 30, exclamation point. But what really shows is how good of a player he is, even with those sacks and pressures. I think he went 21 of 29, 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. He is, and I mean, there's a reason why he's won the MVP multiple times. Anymore, I still love the Bates kick. Me too. Gary, I hope makes the record at home. All right. Robert, greetings, salutations all, and same to you. Johnny L., the Green Bay game, we were just knocking off the rust. Probably accurate. Henry Moore, I think Jake would have made that 67-yarder if he didn't bank left. Yeah, he had the distance for sure. Hookadoo, that would be awesome. Carey, exclamation point, getting the record at home. Maybe they will. I'm Miles Bar, MCDC, always said that Sheila and Ron handling it, complimentary approach. Yeah, there you go. Big D. More, it would have been good from 70 if it was straight. Yeah, he had the leg and everything, just kind of hooked on him a little bit. Mary Smith, Henry Moore, agreed. Don Burr, Tate Ratledge will be a Pro Bowler as a rookie this year. Exclamation point. Beast, that might be possible. I mean, he had some struggles. Seems like most of it was communication week 1. They've cleaned that up. Johnny L. Hookadoo, are you having some fun in your Jeep? We'll find out. Big D. Burr, him, and Mahogany play like pros. They do. Big D. Glasgow was eating. Talking about somebody who's superseded expectations early in the year, it's probably Graham Glasgow. Johnny L., man, we are swimming this morning at our house. Hey, enjoy the swim. Don Burr, the Cleveland defense front is really good. Another tough test. It is. Big D, I seen it twice. Monday. There you go, Big D. Johnny Gas Sports, good morning. Duke Crew, exclamation point. Anything that keeps Hutch healthy. Yeah, probably got to do it. Anymore, the NFL should find the refs who make those bad calls. So just so you guys know, at the NBA level, you have to maintain throughout the season a 98.5 rating. What does that mean? When they review, the lead official reviews your game tapes after each game you work, you can only miss 1.5% of the calls. The NFL is basically the same amount. So with some of these bad calls, those refs do get graded, and they know it will affect them going forward, potentially for the playoffs, etc. The NFL does try to clean that up, although when you get 9 questionable calls all favoring one team, it does make you question if there's an agenda. Don Burt, Johnny L. Swimming, question mark. Hope no flooding your way. Lions Talk Live fan, sup, JG. King SJ, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Back at you, Big D. Cleveland front 4 are beasts. This will be the hardest front we play by far. I agree with that 1,000%. I'm going to do Johnny L. I have 3 of them, 2 Grand Cherokees and a Wrangler. I want to get up north and do some trail riding. There you go. Mary Smith, everything that's done in the dark and do and will come to the light better now than later. Yeah, get it out there for sure. Morning Lions Talk Live fan says, Johnny Gaz, Dre Day, Hutch is still worth $50 million a year minimum, I believe. It'll be interesting when they get that contract signed, what it ends up being. All right, we got about 6 minutes left. I'm going to power through, try to get people on who haven't been on as much. Pat, I seen Hutch jump over a player that was blocking him low. Player got to be better. Yes, it's got to be better indeed. Don Burr, I think Hutch will sign a little under 46, 47 per year. The Adrian Gate Bonnie might be. Johnny Gaz, hey, Mary. Lauren, let's go, Kurt. Woo, back at you. All right, looking for other people. Dre Day, 2 more months and a mid should be back. I agree with that. Mary Smith, not tired, boss. I'm glad to hear that. Nick, they seem to give the opposing teams a penalty right after Detroit gets a first down. And, of course, Detroit declines. This way, the refs can say both teams get equal amounts of penalties. Ooh, could be some wise thinking there. Sir, thank goodness Jake Bates made that tackle at the end of the second quarter. Thank goodness indeed. Let's go. What do you got? Not the same old Lions, the same old officiating. Ooh, hot take there. No, Tom Mitch, sadly, it's not going to do a thing. Probably not. Art, people have said the calls go against us since I can remember. Nothing has ever come of it. Should be interesting to see how it goes in KC, as people say calls are in their favor. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think the Lions really just want to get the low block, the chop blocking out of the playbook for other teams against Hutch and other players. Steve, that missed field goal was a kind of UFO moment. When we saw it go, as they gaslighted us, the NFL sure does hate the Lions. I'll go with that for sure. Lions Talk fan, Lions Talk Live fan, agreed. Lauren, Moonscar Blade, good morning, all. Back at you. Hookadoo, you got that right, Mary. You can believe we got him out of the UFL. Dexter and the painter, the Jared Goff blow to the head, no call, was right in front of the refs. Nasty work. Yes, indeed. I was surprised they missed that, especially since it's a point of emphasis. Thomas, elbow smash the like, y'all. How you doing today, Thomas? And thank you for that. Hysterical Paranoia. I was wondering why they didn't show the field goal replay. Makes sense now. Yeah, they probably... Let's look at it this way. ESPN or any of the broadcast networks, if they know the NFL got something really wrong or an official got something wrong, they try to minimize the replays of it. Although you can watch it online, you can see it on the All-22 film and, coaching film. You can see it. That's right over the upright, especially since they have cameras under the uprights. Egon, back then, the Thanksgiving game was our Super Bowl. Probably true. Brandon, good morning. Do we have another measuring stick games? Oh, every game for us, it seems like that way. Hey, Mark, maybe a penalty for illegal hit to the half the distance to the goal? Might be. Amy Spray, great and salutations to Ultra Do Crew and our incredible coach, Dan. Thank you for that. Exclamation point, go Lions. Back at you. Egon, Silver Server, even the president mentioned that call was so bad. I'll go with that. King Nuts, I want to see Pat McAfee and Tony Romo get a primetime game announcing together. I think it would be a blast to have together. Might be. Blind time DIY, go Lions from North Carolina. Enjoy your day. Dwayne, everybody's saying that didn't look like a field goal. It was not, in fact, a field goal when you look at it. And again, if you've ever been a football official at any level, the practice or determining field goal is not different in high school, middle school, or in the NFL or college. You have one under each upright. Your job is to literally look up. If the field goal, here's the uprights. If it's inside, it is a field goal. If it's over the upright in any way, it is not a field goal. No different if it doinked off the front of it. So, anyways, Patrick, the high-low block was ruled out before Barry Sanders. I remember when he go flag for doing because it was a new rule. Yeah, new rule, and it took players a little time to adjust to it. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Back at you. Eddie Fish. Hope Roger Goodell never shows up at Ford Field because he will be in for a rude awakening. He's probably going to show up. Phil, good morning. Back at you. Thomas, there should be a way for a coach to review terrible penalty calls. They've talked about it, including that in the package. You could flag, use the red flag on to try to contest. I think they have limitations what they can use it on, though. Let's see, Mary Smith. I like Shep. He shows emotion, and Benedict tried to look important. Love the sideline reactions. I would agree with all that. Both, I love Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore, Apocalypse Now, ripping his shirt off when it looks as if Shep wants to jump into the game. Yeah, he might be able to play a few downs here and there. Kurt Steele, Silver Server, no problem. Sonic, the Ravens D loaded the box with him in the game, backed off when Knuckles was in, paid the price. Yes, they did. Thomas, this week we will find out how good offensive line is. Cleveland's D is no joke. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with, especially Hank Fraley, to try to make some adjustments here and there to keep them at bay. And bandwagon fans still want any coach fired? Yeah, it happens, man. The coaches, that's part of coaching. Somebody always wants you gone. Joseph, more bully ball, please. We'll see if we can unleash it. Cynthia, good morning, all. A little late today. Everyone have a great day. Exclamation point. Back at you. Joseph, Jared Goff is late. I would agree with that. Silver Server and Jackson was a no joke either. His arm strength and accuracy are amazing. Yeah, he's the total package, man. Give the guy his flowers. Attila the Hun. Well, Nora Turner and Gary Kubiak won multiple Super Bowls, calling them from the booth, so I guess that isn't true. Please check facts. Judith, do you have a business? I have several businesses, so, I guess it depends on what you want. Tell them me or Coach. We'll find out. Silver Server, see you guys over on Boss Up Ball channel. We'll see you too. Judith, what is Boss Up Ball channels? That is Kurt Steele's channel and show. Cynthia, good morning. Johnny Gaz, Judith, Kurt Steele, Joseph, all scoring plays are reviewed. Well, touchdowns, yes. Field goals, not so much. All right, guys, if there is breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. Be a good human being. And we'll see you all over on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.
Thank you.